Hello, welcome. My name is Stephanie, and on this channel, I talk a lot about houseplants. In today's video, I'm going to be doing something new. I'm going to be trying Pon for the first time. Honestly, I have tried Leca before, and honestly, I don't really like Leca, but I thought I wouldn't write off Pon just because I don't really like Leca. If you want to know why I don't like Leca and what I think of it, let me know in the comments and I'll create a whole separate video just about Leca. But today I have a lot to do, so I don't want to talk too much. I just want to get started. Okay, so there are a few houseplants that I'm thinking of putting into Pon because I've watched a lot of videos, just like you, watched a lot of YouTube videos and realized that some plants seem to do really well in Pon. And namely that would be like Hoya. I've noticed a lot of people put their Hoya plants in Pon. What I'm also going to put in Pon are plants that I I can't quite figure out the watering on them, and plants that grow well in water. So for example, syngoniums. So I'm going to put some of my syngoniums in Pon today. So on the list is this Hoya australis lisa and this Syngonium albo variegata that I just got. And then I'm also going to be doing this Philodendron marble princess. Yeah, Philodendron pink princess marble and my Syngonium pink red spot tricolor. And that's if I have time. But that's what I'm going to start with today. And then I'll try to put some other plants in. But unlike Leca and water, where I sort of jumped right in, I want to tread lightly and take it slow because this is my first time using Pon. So where did I get my Pon from? So I bought my Pon on Amazon, 6 liter one. It's in this very heavy box. It looks like this. It's, you know, taped in the back, and that's that. And then I also got some self-watering pots from Amazon. I will put a link down below. But I got these, and these are 3.8 inches self-watering pots. I got 8 of them. So they're small. They're pretty small. That's what I'm going to do today. First, I think I'm going to rinse my Pon because I've seen a lot of people say that it's important to do that. So I'm going to rinse it, especially because I don't want my water reservoirs to get dusty and grimy and gross. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to get started. I'll be right back. I've decided to start with my Syngonium red spot tricolor. I figured it would be the easiest plant to start with because it's already in water. There are no roots to clean off, like the soil and all of that. And yeah, I thought we'll start easy. So I rinsed off the Pon. This is what it looks like when it's wet. And I know the bucket's a little bit dirty because, yeah, it's dirty. Wow, it went from a beautiful sunny day to like a blizzard outside. Lots of snow. So I'm sorry if the lighting changed and it's suddenly dark, but yes. And I have this little cup to scoop the Pon out. So I have this cup here. So I got this one because there's the little reservoir indicator here. It's clear, so you can see when the water starts to dry out. The one con in that, so I do have one other pot like this, and I do find that in here, any little light that's allowed to enter, moss starts to grow inside, which I'm not a big fan of, but I like this pot, so I thought I'd give it a try. So this is like the pot that the plant is going to go into, and then the Pon is going to go in here, and yeah, I can already see a struggle. These holes are quite big. These 2 holes are big. Even the other holes I find, they're a bit big, and the Pon could fall through there. We're going to find out together. So I'm just going to grab a wick. I'm on the floor because it's just so much easier. So I'm just going to pass my wick in through the holes here. So hopefully, what I'm hoping is that the wick will prevent the Pon from sliding through, because the holes for the wick are bigger than the other 4 holes. So that's what I hope. So here we go. They're cotton. I wish they were nylon because the cotton wicks tend to rot. But let's start with this. We're starting off. Let's not get picky. Good. I'm gonna put some of the pon on the bottom and then put in my plant and then add some more. Oh, look, it didn't fall through. Well, just one fell through. Oh, that's good. All right, so I put just about, is it halfway, maybe a third, just about a third. And I'm just gonna get my plant. Roots look good. You can see the roots are looking good. So this plant, it was growing really well for me, and then it sort of slowed down. And I think it was because I took too long to replenish the water, to change out the water, and it ran out of oxygen. But then I replenished the water and it started pushing out a brand new leaf here. So one of the reasons why I'm putting it in pon, because, you know, I won't have that issue, hopefully, in pon. But look at this. It has this long stem here and it's not, yeah, it's not gonna work. So I need to cut this stem off. It isn't detrimental to the plant. I don't think it would be, but there, that's a lot better. I'm gonna pop it in here. I think that's a good height, right? Then I'm gonna backfill. I'm excited and messy. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, this is officially my first time. I thought I tried pon. And the reason I chose the Lechuza Pon, because I thought if I'm going to give a solid try, I'm going to try, like, I believe pon, correct me if I'm wrong, but Lechuza was like one of the first brands to sort of bring out pon. I could be wrong, but I know that there are a lot of other soil-less substrates, soil-less potting mixes out there, but I wanted to try this one first. And if I like it, then I'm going to venture out into the other mixes that exist. So yeah, so that's it. Wow, that was so easy and not as messy as I thought it was going to be. Wonderful. Easy peasy. Oh, it's so easy. And it looks so cute. I'm excited. Please don't die. Please don't die. I really love this plant. Even if it's growing really slowly for me, I really like it. So yeah, don't. All right, so that's plant number 1. I'm going to move on to my Hoya Australis Lisa. And I'm going to do this one because it's not root bound at all, but I do find myself guessing a little bit regarding when to water this plant, and I don't like that. I don't want to mess this plant up. So I know I just went at it recently and put it into this pot, and I feel so bad to go at it again, but it's proven to me that it's very, what's the word that I'm looking for? It's very resilient. All right, so I think this is as much as I can get out. And now I'm just going to go to the tap, rinse this off, and put it into pon. Look smarter, not harder, right? So this is Syngonium albo, variegata. I've wanted this plant for a long time. And I recently got this, when? I got this last week. Yeah, I got it a few days ago. I got it recently. And yeah, I love how the beautiful variegation, it gets like a beautiful white variegation. But I think what I love even more about it is that it's a syngonium. And I find syngoniums are very easy to care for, very resilient. So that's this one. So I'm just gonna pop it back into the pot like this. And then last one for the trio is this pink Philodendron, Pink Princess Marble. I'm so sad because my cat wow, this just came right out. And this tells you all that you need to know. My cat knocked this over yesterday. I'm not sure if you saw in my community tab that I was sharing that my cat knocked it over and the newest leaf completely broke off. I put a sad, sad picture of the new leaf. It was so pretty and I was so excited. I'm not sure if you're like me, but I look at my plants every single day, especially when they're putting out a new leaf. It broke my heart that it broke. A lot of breaking happening. Yay. But look at the size of this root system. Tiny. It's so tiny. And look at the size of this pot. Like it was only a matter of time before this got root rot in here because that's a lot of soil for a tiny root system. So hopefully Pon would be a good match and it'll work out. I'm feeling more confident with this than with Lechuza. So again, I'm just going to put a little bit in, just about a third. So this is the Hoya australis lisa. I've washed off as much of the soil as possible. I mean, I could have gone at it a little bit more, but I didn't want to be too aggressive with the roots, especially because I repotted it recently. So I don't want to go at the roots too much. So this is a risk. All right, so it's going in pretty deep. So I think I'm going to add a little bit more of the medium in. Okay. Okay, that's a little bit better. That's much better. I must say, so far, this is a lot easier than soil. I mean, when some fall over, it's just a couple rocks to pick up. It's not like I have soil on this table and I have pon on this table, and picking up the pon is definitely a lot easier. I mean, if the pon completely tips over, like that'll be a mess. It's so cute. Perfect. All right. And it's so cute. It has another tiny little growth, a tiny little baby forming. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Maybe I'll zoom in. But a tiny, cute little growth. Lost a leaf. Collateral damage. So again, not a big root system on this little guy. So I think most of my product or my pon here would be to sort of try to stabilize it. There we go. Do you use pon? I'm curious. How many of you have used pon? Do you like it? How much of your collection did you put in pon? What's your observation? And a question I have for you is that I've noticed a lot of people talk about root mealies, and I've noticed most of the the people who talk about root mealies on their roots have their plants in pon. So I'm wondering if because pon is so loose and aerated, if root pests are more likely to be attracted to your plant. I don't have I don't think I have a memory of having root mealies ever in my collection. So I don't know if those who talk about root mealies have mostly, is it because they have Hoya and Hoya seems to attract root mealies, or is it because of the pon? So tell me if you've made this observation and what you think about it. Am I wrong? Do I need clarification? Please share that with me. But I'm gonna find out the hard way, or the good way. I don't know. Hopefully, I never get root mealies. And that's this one. How's the video going so far? Like what you see? I hope so. If you do, please hit the like button down below. And you may want to consider subscribing. I have a lot of other plant content, even a little bit of travel content that you might enjoy. Okay, let's keep going. Something else I know about pon, or I've heard, is that Lechuza Pon, I really hope I'm saying it correctly, but Lechuza Pon has a slow release fertilizer in it. So I need to be careful when watering my plants and the amount of fertilizer I add in it. I heard that the amount of fertilizer that's released is very, very minimal. And it's one of the reasons actually why I'm just going to try out pon in this for the first time. I'm just going to try it out, and then moving forward, I might try another type of soilless mix if this one works out. But I like having control over how much fertilizer I put in my plants. I don't like relying on slow release fertilizers because I don't know. I like to do it myself. I have a feeling the syngoniums are not going to be in this for very long. Syngoniums tend to grow very quickly and put out a lot of roots. So I have a strong feeling I'm going to have roots pushing out of this very soon. How soon, I don't know. Whew. That's number 4. It looks good so far. It looks good. One extra plant to my list that I get done today, and that is my Monstera Peru. So that's it here. It took a while to get accustomed to being in water, but it has these beautiful water roots. I think it's finally acclimated to water. I think it's going to do well in pond. And again, I think the way plants grow in pond is similar to the way they grow in water versus the type of roots that plants generate when in soil are different. So like there are soil roots and there's water roots, and I find the roots that I've seen in pond, they look very similar to water roots, if not water roots. But again, I've never personally handled that. I don't have that much experience handling plants in pond. But if you know for sure, let me know. But in videos, when I see the roots, they look like water roots to me, the plants that are in pond. And also in pond, a lot of times the roots come out through the bottom and they go into the reservoir uh, and access the water, and they don't rot. They actually do well. So they could very well be water roots, but again, I'm not sure. This is actually can't quite remember how many inches this is. I do have the link to this in my description box, and I will also put the links to everything else, the pond, the other self-watering pot, so like these little ones. I will also put these in my description box as well. That way you can easily have access to them. And this again will be another easy one to do because it's in water. I just have to transfer it into the pond. And so just so you get a closer look of it, this was it a runner? Yeah, it was a little bit of a runner. So I cut this and just put it back into the water to propagate. But this is how it looks. Beautiful, beautiful leaves. I love this plant. Very, very nice. And I mean, I have seen this plant with much bigger leaves, and I hope that one day to get there, but not yet. But what's also nice about the runners, if you have patience, the runners sometimes push out new growth. See? So, you know, some plants, they'll have runners, not Hoya, but some other plants, vines will have runners, the long vines with no leaves, and no leaves will ever come on those vines. You have to, like, the new leaves will come later. But with this plant, I've noticed that it actually sometimes pushes out new growth from the nodes along the runners. So let's go. So I'm just going to very easily transfer it in here. Wow, this looks like I might have needed a little bit of a bigger pot. What? I've seen people just pop cuttings, nodes straight up into a pond and have it grow. Have you seen that? I've seen it. We'll test that theory. Well, at least for Monsteras anyway. Something that I forgot to mention that comes to mind now is that I personally, what I like to do for my plants when I have changed the substrate completely, for these, I'm going to make sure like this little guy is going to go exactly where he was, because he's been growing really well, pushing a lot of new growth. So I'm going to put him back where he was and keep a close eye on him. If he starts to decline, I'm going to put him in even better, give him like a more prime spot. But yeah, that's something you definitely want to be wary of if you're gonna take that plunge, make that change. Okay, so I'm going to fill them up, and I'm not going to fill it up too high. So be mindful not to fill up the reservoirs too high because you don't want it to touch the plants up here. So I'm just going to fill it up just a little bit past. I'm trying to find if there's an indicator, but I don't see an indicator in here as to the maximum height. There's no indicator in here. But anyways, I'm just going to put it a little bit past uh, the window here. So this is what it looks like when it starts to get low. Can you see the difference? Is it focusing? Yeah. So this is what it looks like when it gets low. When it gets low, and this is what it looks like full. Low, full, low, full. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I appreciate you spending some of your day with me. If you like this video, I have a strong feeling that you may like some of these other videos here, and you can subscribe because then you will be notified as to when I give updates, when I post another video to let you know how these plants are doing. Hopefully it's a good update. Hopefully it's happy news. Okay, have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.